On the 9th October 2012, Uganda will be 50 years old as an independent country. The Uganda Association of New South Wales, Australia is happy to be joined by Moses Mukasa in a brief interview. Today, Moses has a true spirit of patriotism for his mother nation, Uganda. He was born and bred in Uganda and currently lives in Sydney, Australia. His much love for Uganda is expressed through his views in discussions and debates about the nation. Moses shares his experience with us today as we reflect on 50 years of Uganda's independence. Welcome, Moses, and say hello to the viewers.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Robert. I'm so excited and privileged to be with you this afternoon to discuss great important issues concerning our country. Thank you very much.
Moses, what does independence mean to you?
Yes, as we celebrate the 50 years of Uganda's independence, it means the period when we went out of the hands of the British people.
Yes.
Because as you remember, Uganda was not a colony, but a protectorate.
Yes.
Our forefathers discussed well and properly with the British administration so that we don't become a colony, but a protectorate. They are supposed to protect us.
Yeah.
But on the way, they behaved with us as if we were a colony. But well, we kept on discussing from time to time until we came to that period when we had to get out of their hands,
right,
in a peaceful way. You remember our brothers in Kenya, they had to launch the Mau Mau rebellion to let themselves off the British administration, right, or the colonialists. But in Uganda, it was just discussions. So we're really happy to know that we are marking 50 years for self-determination of our country, for decide our own destiny away from the colonial masters or the protectorate masters. Yeah.
Thank you. Moses Mukasa, from your knowledge of independence, is Uganda independent?
Oh yeah, we are independent because first and foremost, we have had many challenges on the way after self-determination, but we are independent. We have a government, we had leaders, we have the three arms of the government are functioning, and in fact Uganda has been determining its own destiny vis-a-vis the problems you have encountered on the way after independence. But we are independent.
Yes.
We are deciding our own issues through our own countries and our own means. Yeah, we are independent actually. Yeah.
Okay, right. Political chaos in Uganda, is this something we inherited from the colonial masters? Take us through.
Yeah, Robert, you're right. During the time when we were being led by the protectorate or colonials, as you have said, they laid traps, which eventually were supposed to turn into political chaos. You remember?
Yeah.
We are run by the British administration for 68 years.
Yes. And
all the 68 years, they never prepared us to have an administration. You remember there was a very huge conference in Berlin, in Brussels, in 1945, where the European countries sat down and decided whether they were supposed to leave Africa. Because during that time, some rebellion were coming up in Africa. People wanted self-determination. They wanted to be independent of the colonialists.
Yep.
So when the war started in Ethiopia, they resisted. In Libya, they were carrying out a rebellion. In Kenya, the Mau Mau was going on. So the British people sat down and said, how do we manage this situation? Then they decided that we should leave Africa and stay in Africa at the same time. So they were supposed to now turn into what we call the neo-colonialism. Colonialism after independence. So in so doing, they made sure that they leave situations which would lead us to chaos as we go through self-determination, as we go through independence. For instance, in Uganda, can you imagine, by the time they left power, two army officers, senior army officers, by the names of Tito Okelutwa and Idi Amin Dada, were promoted hurriedly because there was nobody who was to take over the army leadership. They are promoted,
yes,
and given higher ranks vis-a-vis people who were highly skilled and educated, like Brigadier Perennial Okoya, who was highly educated. They sidelined them and put their people who were supposed to champion their own causes. So chaos was supposed to be there. In the first National Assembly in Uganda, in 1961, Apollo Milton Obote was already in exile in Nairobi. The British people brought Obote back, and they arrested the person who was supposed to stand in the Lango area to represent Lango in the national. They arrested him on the eve of the independence, of the elections rather, so that Obote can be elected unopposed.
Yeah.
They knew that Obote would really do what they wanted him to do. So they laid traps, which were a sure deal that chaos was supposed to be going on in Uganda. And you remember in 1962, when the KY-UPC alliance was made, Obote made a statement and said that when we did that alliance, I knew that our motives were going to be implemented, that chaos were going to be in Uganda. And just 4 years, we remember what happened in the Rubiri barracks in 1966, just 4 years after independence. So chaos was inevitable according to the program that the British people left with Uganda. But we are happy that we have managed to go through all those things, and we are moving on steadily now.
Right, thank you so much, Moses. Again, in your view, what should Ugandans be proud of today as we celebrate 50 years of independence?
Yeah, because we have realized ourselves, the togetherness. Because remember, the first 15 or 20 years after independence were chaos, were disastrous. By the time of independence, Uganda was at the level of Indonesia, Malaysia, other countries in terms of economic emancipation. But Uganda had to go down because of the wars, the chaos, because the turbulent period that we went through, but now, as we celebrate the 50 years, there is hope for Uganda. There is hope for Uganda. Ugandans are sure that much as we are going slowly, but really we are going to gain, and we are on the right path to prosperity. We celebrate 50 years of independence as we are sure that in Uganda we are not going to slide back. No, we are already on the political path, on the culture of constitutionalism has been embedded in those people, and for sure we are going to move on. Yep.
Yes, thank you so much. As we speak now, NRM is the driver of the country. What has been NRM's contribution to independence of Uganda in the last 26 years?
Oh yeah, NRM has been a machinery to reverse the turbulent period in Uganda. Because as you are aware, from 1962 up to 1986, we have been going down until the coming of the national resistance movement on the political scene, until it collected and organized the people of Uganda to fight for themselves to realize real independence.
Yes.
And since the last 26 years, there is hope for Uganda. You know, we have not had a peaceful change of government during this period. They were taking over, overthrowing of government, killing of people from time to time, from period to period. All that became the history of the past. And the security of the people, economic development, you know what I mean? So Uganda was almost being written off the world map, just like Somalia is today. But because of the national resistance movement, we have been able to come back and to reorganize ourselves. And Uganda is a beacon of hope in the world today. Yep.
Good. You have talked a lot about what movement has contributed towards the independence of Uganda. Yeah. But are there any regions in Uganda that feel they are not independent yet?
No, I don't think so. The country of Uganda really enjoys the independence. Sometime back, the northern region in Uganda was a little bit upset because of the activities of the Road Resistance Army of Joseph Kony and so on. But of course, the National Resistance Movement government fought tooth and nail to restore order in northern Uganda as well. So there is hope for them. So we are moving as a group, as one country, one nation, and one people. And I believe everybody is contented, and really, as we celebrate 50 years, all the parts of Uganda are peaceful, and they are all now aiming at one thing: how do we emancipate our country economically? How do we transform the societies of Uganda? Yeah, every part of Uganda is satisfied that we are independent. I believe so.
That's very, very good. And finally, Moses Mukasa. As a Ugandan living in Australia, where do you see Uganda in the next 50 years?
Yeah, in the next 50 years, because first and foremost, Uganda has got the talent of people in leadership, people who are, because in the entire world, Uganda is the only country that has got people, its cream, scattered all over the world. If those people were to go back to Uganda today, Uganda would move forward so swiftly. There is hope for Uganda. And I believe that everyone who is outside and those ones home, we are going to join hands to make sure that Uganda is a better place to live in. It's our duty. Much as there are challenges home now, but the path that we are on is a sure path that in the next 50 years, Uganda will be a very, very better place to live in. And I believe not only Ugandans will enjoy, but members of the world will be able to enjoy the benefits of having good leadership and economic environment in our country. That's what I believe in, and I hope and believe and trust that it will happen.
Thank you so much, Luutu.
Thank you so much. I'm so
Mukasa,
happy. Yeah.
And I think you have really taken us through what independence means, where it started, and where we are, and what we expect in the 50 years. Yeah. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so much. I wish all the people of Uganda in Australia to enjoy and to sit back and reflect where we have come from, and sit down and see how best can we contribute to our country, because it dwells on us. We must be able to make sure that we contribute to the well-being of that country. What do? We have to sit down and so and give advice and come in, because Uganda will not come from where it is unless we too contribute. Our contribution is needed. So as you celebrate 50 years of independence in Australia, New South Wales community, my heart will be with you, much as I will be in Uganda, I will be in Colorado, but my heart and spirit will be here. I wish you the best of the celebrations, and really to stand together, to unite, because Uganda will remain still and forever the pearl of Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you.